one day I'm gonna remember to like empty my storage card before I start these. Hi, welcome back or to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Maleah, and we just literally talk about books, reading books, new books we should be reading, books that I bought, books that you think I should buy. Today we're going to be doing my June wrap up. So I read 5 books this last month. I am not one of those like crazy girls you're gonna be seeing who's like able to read 10-15 books in a month. I have a 7-month-old baby and my attention span just isn't that good. Realistically, in a month I read about 5 to 7 books. This month was just a little bit slow for me. I was kind of in a slump. I didn't really like love anything that I had around, or yeah, nothing was really speaking to me. And if you saw my last video, and if you haven't, you should, I just got a bunch of books and to try to fix that problem, because I do really love reading, but I'm a mood reader and I just have to be like in love with my option to really get into it. So this month was kind of the product of me just kind of reading whatever I could find. Barnes got the best of me. But nonetheless, it was a good month from the books that I did read. So I'm going to go through each book, my thoughts, what I rated them, and then we'll just kind of keep this short and sweet, and I'll let you know if I think you should also be taking time to read these. So my auto buy, like top favorite author ever at the moment is Ana Huang, and I was wanting to finish up my Twisted series this month. So I read Twisted Hate at the beginning of last month. I really enjoyed this. I didn't think I was going to. I honestly was putting off Twisted Hate and Lies because I just don't want this world to be done with. I love all the characters in these books. I love the friend group. If you've never read a Twisted book, these are my most recommended Ana Huang books to read. This is about a friend group of 4 girls, and each book is about each girl and their love interest, and this one was about Jules and Josh, and Josh is the brother of Ava from first book Twisted Love. Literally 3 literallys hate each other. At some point I was kind of wondering like, how are we going to get around to being in love, because I was just being so sold on the fact that they just could not stand each other. Like literally just hearing each other breathe and being in the same room with each other, they couldn't do it. But it was really cute. I really enjoyed it. I have a lot of things annotated in this book. I started out tabbing, but then it just got to the point where I got so into the story that I was just marking and not putting tabs in. So I'll probably have to go back over this book. Each book has a twist in it, hence Twisted. There's like this huge plot twist, and it's just another like a layer to it being not just a romance, and I really love that. This one really threw me off, not as much as Twisted Love, but I was a little bit shocked. This is more of like a morality thing that I was like, are we really doing this right now? Regardless, Jules in this book, she's my new favorite girl. Honestly, Alex is my favorite guy, but Jules is my favorite girl. She is just so strong and witty, and she just does not take your crap. Like, she always has something to say back, and she is a lawyer or finishing up like all her credentials to become a lawyer at a big firm. Just doesn't let anyone get in her way. Even when she was with Josh, because, you know, obviously they're a little bit toxic, so there was like, you know, some points where you're like, are we still doing this? And even in the times where they were lovey-dovey, she was checking it. This was a little, not slow, but it just took a long time, for, in my opinion, to get to like the punchline of like, okay, we are in love. But I felt the way about Twisted Games too, the second book. It was just like a little bit too long. So for that reason, this was not a 5 for me. I would say this was more like a 4.5, just because I would have appreciated if we just like condensed just a little bit. But I still think the whole Twisted series is a 5 for sure. Not even a 5. It's like a 10 out of 10, 1,000 out of 10. I love it. Keeping with Ana Huang, later in the month I also read The King of Wrath. This is the first book in the new series she's currently writing, The Kings of Sin. So there's gonna be 7 books. So we have Wrath, Pride, and Greed so far. I don't really know what my feelings are on this series quite yet. Like I said, this is just book 1. I did meet Dante. Why do I keep on calling him Damien? I'll never know. I think because he reminded me of Damon from Vampire Diaries, but I really liked this. It was kind of the same vibes. We're following like another set of characters we know, but they're all trickled into like side characters from the Twisted series. Do I think you need to read like this book to know this book, or any of the Twisted books to know this book? Absolutely not. We meet Dante in Twisted Hate, so it was a little weird how it worked out, honestly, but I did really like his character. He was a grumpy sunshine trope. He also, this is a billionaire, which is my favorite ever. I don't know why. I think I just like the escapism of it, a different little reality to be in, but I really enjoy just like watching girls get whatever they want. Vivian, however, in this book, she is not my favorite. I could have really done without her towards the end of the book. I don't know, it was just like, how do I put this nicely? The third act breakup, and so when she, you know, everybody's like spilling the tea or figuring out why you broke up, how this happened, whatever. I just feel like she drags it on for a little bit too long. And I'm like, babe, we all got it. We're all following that. He did something wrong. That's why we broke up in the first place. He's very sorry. He's like doing all these things to make big strides to like show that he is not the person that, you know, he presented himself as before they broke up and everything. And I was just like, girl, we need to let this go. And it was just kind of like chapter after chapter for a minute there. She was just like, I don't know. I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk to him. I'm like, babe, come on, let's wrap this up. This was a marriage of inconvenience. Dante was blackmailed by Vivian's dad, and for him to keep his mouth shut about kind of dirt he found out about Dante, he was like, you're gonna marry my daughter and we're gonna use like your status as a way to like boost our family in the social standings in New York. She was very confused why this man of such great social standing was even like interested in getting with her. So that's kind of the whole thing of her trying to figure out, why are we even doing this? I also did not care for Dante's brother in this book. He has a very big part in this book, and I was like, can you go away? Regardless of some things I didn't like about some characters, I did really like the story, and Dante did enough for me where it was like, we're pulling it together here. So I also thought this was a 4.5 stars. I'm excited to read King of Pride though, because that's about Kai, and we meet him in this book. He is one of Dante's like kind of just like in a social circle. I wouldn't really say that they're any like work friends or really like best friends or by any means, but I did really love what I got of him so far in this book. Next, I picked up Scarred this month when I went to my Barnes little craziness. This is my first stop though, because Emily McIntyre, who writes these books, she is currently going through her last stage of chemo, and I really wanted to own all of her books just to like support her best I could, because I really do love Twisted, which was the first book I picked up. This was a fractured fairy tale about Scar from The Lion King. In this book, he is Tristan Fossa, though, the brother to the king, and their dad recently died, so his brother is ascending the throne, and Tristan wants his brother gone. But for his brother to fully take his position as king, he needs to have his queen, so everyone was like finding him a queen, and the woman that they picked out happened to also pique Tristan's interest. I really loved this. The book, like the words, the way this book took a turn from just being like romance, like they're falling for each other, and it being like she's just as dark as him. Loved that. I didn't feel like the Jafar aspect in Twisted was like as he is really out to get people as I thought Tristan was. I really enjoyed this a lot, and like I said, I love strong women. I love that she was just as messed up as him, and she was going to join him in just taking over the world or burning it down together, and I just loved that so much. I only didn't think this was a 5 because I'm like, maybe if I stare at the back long enough, it'll come to me. Nope, I couldn't tell you. I think this is just a 4.75 all around for me. Then, wrapping up the month, I started my Sarah Adams books. I have the cheat sheet right now. I also just bought When in Rome and looking for Practice Makes Perfect. It's at my Barnes right now, but I just don't need to step foot in there at the moment. So I started the cheat sheet. I also listed some of this on my Libby app. I got a library card from the Denver library and just like uploaded it to the app. I literally just signed up online. I didn't even have to go to Denver at all, and I've just been borrowing audiobooks that way, and I really like it so far. I didn't think I was gonna like using Libby for that type of stuff, but this really came in handy because my son started doing like a sleep regression. My god. So not holding a book was kind of what I had to do. I thought it was a really cute story. It was not as like adult as I'm used to my books being. This was very just like cute, fluffy, short little romance between friends to lovers. It's about Nate. He's an NFL star, and his friend is a ballerina instructor. She did not get to go after her professional dreams, and so he is just kind of like not carrying her along with him, but he is trying to keep her as involved as possible in his success and his life, because he did get to do his dreams outside of high school. There's a moment that they stopped talking for a few years, and then they started being friends again, so we're kind of figuring out like why she cut him off for that period of time, if it was just like jealousy or if it was just because she realized she was having feelings for him. I would say this is a guy falls first also, but they kind of, I don't know, it kind of seemed to me they fell in love at the same time. You can make up your own mind, but big golden retriever vibes. He was just incredibly sweet and very cute with her, and I really loved that. That kind of made up for like, I don't know, the spice that I'm used to having in books, and I'm definitely picking up more for books because they're just a really cute little, I don't know, just a little something, a little something that face I just made. It was that. Like I said, this was a shorter one of the books that I read this month, so if you're not like a 400-page reader, this was only 289. I also would not consider this a full 5 stars, but the only reason for that is that I hate to say this, but Brie gave off a little bit of like pick me vibes in the beginning, just like knowing that her and Nate are just such good friends, and in the beginning of the book he had a girlfriend, and just her inner dialogue towards that girlfriend was a little bit much for me. Like, we get it, he loves you, you have a key to his apartment, she doesn't, you know, he has a schedule with you that he leaves her for, like, we got it, girl. But she was just saying some things that in her brain, thank goodness, so I probably would have just DNF'd this because I just couldn't do that conversation reading that in a book. That's gross. But it was some of her inner dialogue. I was just like, let's not do that one. We get it, we know you love, we know. A good rating, still really enjoyed it, still will be reading more Sarah Adams books, but this was just like, if we could just respect the other women in people's lives, this would be fine. Then lastly, I read A Flicker in the Dark. I thought I would switch it up for my just collection of books I was building this last month, even though, like I said, there wasn't really anything I was really excited about reading, so that kind of kept me in the same category. I was just like, okay, let's pick another romance book. But I got A Flicker in the Dark a month and a half ago, and I did really like this. This one I listened completely on Libby too, because, like I said, we were just having one of this month. This is about Chloe when she was 12. A bunch of girls in her town, one directly, you know, involved with her, went missing and died, and her dad ended up taking the fall for it, and he went to jail, and she has, you know, trauma from that, a little bit of guilt because one of her friends was one of the girls who went missing. And so you kind of see that at the beginning of the book, her having like flashbacks or just panic attacks, whatever. And then now she is in her 30s and it's happening again, so she's a little bit confused. They don't know if it's like a copycat because it's almost exactly like her dad, but some things are just a little bit off. So you're just trying to figure out who is doing this, if he is out of jail and they don't know about it, or I don't know, maybe it's her and she's just lost her mind. We're not really sure. She's just like kind of throwing all these things out, really throwing you off. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I didn't like physically hold it and read the book. I probably would have got even more immersed in it that way, but the narrator and the audiobook I was listening to was really good and kept me hooked on it the entire time. I listened to the whole audiobook in one day because it was just that I didn't know what was going on, which doesn't happen a lot in thrillers. A lot of the time I can guess, and I did unfortunately guess this too. So if you guys have any like thrillers or mysteries where you just were extremely thrown off and you did not see it coming, please let me know, because and not that it ruins the book for me, I'm just like, yeah, that's what I thought. And I'd really just like to be shocked. Like, I don't know, it sounds stupid because like I've read a lot of other books and a lot of other authors at this point, but when I first started reading, I was reading Colleen Hoover, and literally not another like thriller book has kept me so like, what in the heck is happening as Verity. So if you could help me with that, that'd be really great. But for what it was, and for what the, you know, ending actually ended up being, because I thought it was being a little bit silly, honestly, and I guessed it, but I did really like this. There was some things that really threw me off that I expected to be, you know, totally okay, and we were on a good track. So for that reason, this was a 4. But anyways, regardless, like I said, it was a very good month. Even though I didn't have any 5 stars, I did really enjoy everything I read. And like I said, I have a lot of things I'm more excited about getting into this month. But anyways, I hope you guys had a great reading month. And let me know if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts were. If you want to watch like what I'm reading as I go throughout the months, follow me on my Goodreads. You can get it down below, and also my Bookstagram and my Book Talk. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great next month of reading. I'm so excited to show you what I have for this coming month of July. Well, we're in July technically now, but I'm really excited to show you what I have. So stay tuned for that video. Anyways, bye.